Here we are. This is episode 102.
The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Need a show about outdoor living? This is where it's at. With your hosts, Shane Chapman and Way Laurent. Thank you for tuning in. Now let the show begin. Yeah. The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay?
Okay.
Wake up. We're live.
I'm ready.
Okay, good. Carly's in here. He doesn't, is he? Oh, maybe he's working today. I was like, he doesn't have to be on there on his day off, but maybe he's working today.
It's 8:30.
Welcome to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Wade, Shane, Bryce here.
Woo.
Episode 102.
Beautiful Regina, Saskatchewan.
Yeah, not a bad morning today.
Who was the guy we were talking to yesterday that tried to say Saskatchewan on the phone? Credit card guy.
Oh, Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
That was
Saskatchewan?
Yeah. As he started to say it, I was like, oh, he's saying Saskatoon, but then he's finished strong with the Saskatchewan.
Chuan.
Yeah. Saskatchewan. What'd you do yesterday? You went for supper. Dinner.
I went for dinner because it was planned.
Yeah, he had a reservation and everything.
What? Holy smokes.
So here's this thing. There
Is there
seems
a
to be
different
this
word for that? Is
reservation.
that like, that's like more than just planning. That's like,
Yeah.
Dinner.
that's like a lot of planning.
That's like an anniversary dinner.
Yeah.
Right?
What did you do?
Like, was
Yeah.
it?
What didn't you do?
Nothing. It was fall. Like I was shitty all summer. So
This is a
now
sorry supper?
Now it's like I'm checking back in.
Yeah. Hey. So sorry about that.
I'm here again. Remember me?
I'm alive.
Yeah, we went to. So there seems to be this like support local push, small business week going on, and I just wanted to make sure that we went out for dinner and supported something local. So Bryce helps at a restaurant. Are you owner in that one? You part owner in that restaurant?
No.
Okay, but he commits a lot of time there.
Like,
How are you?
the face
kinda.
was like, maybe, but then the answer ended up just being no.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward.
Not quite.
Do you have shares, or do you just get paid to be there?
I make a lot of money off the wine.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's a local restaurant called Homestead Bar and Vin
Baravin.
Baravin.
Yeah. French for wine bar.
Wine bar. The food was freaking amazing.
Yeah.
So we had 6 different plates of food, and they were all small dishes, but they were so good. It was like carrots and potatoes, but carrots done with honey, which was, I hadn't thought of that. Now that's how I'll make them.
Carrots and honey. You've never thought it.
Cool, man. It was so
man.
good. Yeah. Anyways, pork, chicken, it was great. Little dinner. Supported local.
Good.
You?
What'd you do?
Got your VR headset going?
Oh, yeah.
Stay up all night,
My kid
scare
played
yourself?
it last night. I didn't fire it up. No. So all of my dinners are dinners now because they're planned because we don't make them anymore. We've got an in-house nanny, and so my wife
not a
gives
big
her
deal.
the like. No big deal. I just like
No big deal. I have a nanny
the
now?
podcast is finally paying dividends, so we got a nanny. But my wife like plans it out in the morning and
I'm not aware of the dividends.
Yes.
tells her what it is, and then we show up at home and it's made last night. So I also had carrots and potatoes and a roast. One of the
yeah.
roasts that we got from
Darren Ippolito.
Darren Ippolito from.
How was that?
It was amazing. She put that sucker in the slow cooker before I left for work.
Oh, boy.
So it was like 10 hours in the slow cooker, and
Wow.
it was pretty good. When I left, she was searing it. She was cutting garlic into it, and she was like whipping it all up. I was like, this is going to be something special. And it was pretty good.
So good.
Yes, that's what I did last night. No, I didn't play the VR last night. Here's
Did
my
you tell
cycle.
Bryce the story?
I didn't, but here's my cycle. Up late, 8:30, out.
Yeah. Friday night.
Last night was that night. So
Party night at Shane's
I
house.
had a couple late nights in the VR, and last night I literally like we've got this one like it's just a chair, like an armchair thing, whatever. Not
The one that Dad sits in?
yeah.
The dad chair.
I sat in that. I curled up.
Everybody
on that.
has that,
Everybody's
right?
got Dad
Did you
chair.
have that?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. There was a chair that you didn't sit in because
Yeah.
that was Dad's chair.
Yeah.
My dad's was a whole couch.
Oh, yeah.
Usually I'm on the couch, but last night I chose the chair, and I was dozing off, reading my phone, and then I just decided to curl up in it. And it's not big enough for me. I'm 6'3". This chair is like it's not made for that. But I curled up and like cranked my neck into the corner or whatever and fell asleep. And then my wife woke me up later and she's like, "Why don't you go to bed or at least to the couch?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, couch sounds like."
I'll do the couch. I'm
I
not
rolled
committing
over
to the
couch
stairs.
and I was out for the rest of the night. So yeah,
that's
no, I was
funny.
out. Yeah, no, we bought a VR headset, and it's become a hit with the whole family now that my wife has finally tried it as well. And so
She doesn't watch this, right?
she claims she does, but she doesn't.
So I Yeah, you shared the video. That was fantastic. She
Yeah.
was like,
Bryce, have you used a VR? I can't remember if you
Yes.
You have.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
Awful.
So my wife did the walk the plank thing. This is the big thing you demo or try with it, right? Is walking the plank where you are walking out the elevator of a skyscraper on a little wooden plank and you see like how much your mind F's with you. Mm-hmm. And it does F with you.
so some people can do this. I have tried that. I can't walk the plank. I'm scared of heights.
You've tried it before.
Correct. Buddy Greg's house.
Yeah.
So I put
you
the
just
headset.
couldn't do
I couldn't
it?
do it. I'm terrified of heights. I can walk on a roof, but I can't get to the edge of the roof. Right. Back in the day, I worked rigs. I couldn't. Like I was not really good up in the derrick because it was all thin grate and you could see through. But
Really?
but I'm great on a plane. Like planes don't bother me because I know that I'm not going to get injured if I hit the ground.
Wait a second.
It's over.
Wait a second. Yeah, okay.
Right?
It's
Like
just all over.
It's over.
You're
It's
just dead.
But like I won't. It is unlikely that I will ever skydive, and I won't bungee jump, and because I'm too scared of heights. I can't do that stuff. So we walk on the plank, and I was in Greg's basement, knowing full well that I was on the floor of the basement,
Yeah.
and I knew I couldn't fall. Headset on, couldn't walk out on the plank. Lift the headset up, look at the floor, be like, "Wait, you're on the floor. You can't fall."
You're there,
Headset back
Wade.
on, was like, "I'm gonna die." Headset off. You're good. Headset on. I can't do that. I'm dying. Yeah. Anyways, I couldn't walk out there.
That was exactly my wife's position too. She's like inching along the plank. She's like, "Oh my God, this is so stupid. I can't do it. I'm sweating. I know I'm on the floor, but I can't do this. I can't do this." Back into the elevator.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Couldn't take the plunge.
And then some spiders came out. She freaked out, took the headset off. She's like, "I can't do this anymore." Like,
Yeah.
so it's a pretty cool experience. Bryce, do you have worldly news today? Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Did we
Yeah,
surprise you?
no, I'm set.
Or you got that?
I'm trying to make it better, but I don't know if I'll get that far.
It's too late to make it better. We started the show.
Just so you know, Mom, I'm working on something very, very big, very important. You're going to be very proud. It's the worldly news.
Let's hear it. I hope there's some
Okay.
good stuff going on in the world because I'm tired of politics.
Okay. Do you guys think that those little bar carts that they roll down the aisle in airplanes are pretty cool?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
they carry
I
a
don't know
lot
if
of
I've ever
cool.
thought that they were
Well,
cool, but
would you ever like to own one? Because an Australian airline named Qantas is selling off fully stocked bar carts from retired 747s.
Oh well, if they're fully stocked. So what are they selling them for? Fully stocked with what?
Yeah. How old are the chips that are on these
Australian wines, champagne, Tim Tam cookies, pajamas, and Qantas first class Sheridan throw pillows.
Okay. And so
They-
how much is a cart going
How much
for?
would you pay for that?
How much would I pay for it? How much
Yeah.
do I think they're charging for
How
it?
much would you pay for it?
I wouldn't pay much. None of
Would-
that
not
shit
much?
sounds too enticing to me. I'd pay like $200.
things? Oh boy, I'd pay more than that.
I don't need pajamas. I don't
I'd
need
pay,
eye
like-
masks. I don't need headphones.
You just
I
think
don't
about the
drink
volume of
wine
champagne
or
that's in there.
champagne.
Like I'd pay $1,500 probably.
Yeah. Well, you could have got one. They were only $685 each.
Sucker.
Or 100,000 Qantas points.
100,000 Qantas points.
Yeah.
I guess I've never stocked one, so I don't know exactly what
They got those little like
how much
breaks,
booze is in there.
right?
I wouldn't think they'd be loading it full of booze. Like probably like 4 or 5 bottles at most. I would think.
4 or 5 bottles at most.
Anyway, okay.
Okay.
So will they ship it
Yeah, they ship it right to your door.
anywhere in the world?
Yeah.
Come on, for $6 is it free shipping?
It's not free shipping. Okay. I'm sorry.
So it's $685 plus $1,200 to get it to you in Canada.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, there you go, Wade. You're
But
almost at $1,500.
We
You
could
get
put
one.
Bruce in there. You put Dunnigan Dax inside the cart and ship him here, and then boom, free flight to Canada.
Yeah, fair enough.
Got it done. Okay, next worldly news.
Next worldly news. Florida City to lift ban on saggy pants 13 years after it was put in place.
Oh, I thought that was a recent thing that they started banning
super
saggy
progressive of them.
I mean, it was pretty recent. It's only 13 years ago.
pants. So, but why now? Why are they lifting the ban?
Because there was men and women that filed civil citation complaints because they broke the law and they got tickets and they didn't think that it was fair.
So they fought the man.
They fought the man.
They're like, I want to wear saggy pants.
They wanted to wear saggy pants.
I never.
But they wore saggy pants for 12 years before they had a problem with it. And they were like, you know what? Enough of this.
No, because they didn't get the fine.
No, they
They were breaking the law
they were
for 12
breaking
years.
the law for 12 years.
Sure.
However,
Rebels.
all the signs said no ifs, ands, or buts.
Oh, yeah,
That's a city law.
That's pretty good.
That one, I like that. So it was just one city. I wonder how that ever got through in the first place. Like,
I have no idea. That's crazy, right?
how do you table that motion at town hall, city hall?
It sounds like nobody was in favor of it, even when it went through.
Hey, Pete, do you think that the kids' pants are too low? Yeah. We should make a law. Yeah, Fred, let's make a law.
Let's make a law.
Okay.
Okay.
That it?
Now I got another one.
Okay.
That was only two, Wade. Settle down.
This is a good one.
Bryce.
What do you? Yes.
Why do I have?
You're not recording. I told you twice.
No.
Yeah, I told you twice to start recording.
There's no card in here, Bryce.
Shane.
There's no card in here. Do you have the audio recording to that?
Yeah.
Or do we have to start this episode over?
I do.
Okay, good.
We're okay.
Put the card in. I think
wanna-
we should. Yeah.
Should we put the card
We should
into this
probably
thing?
put the card in now.
This is 102 episodes before we.
I even said to you at one point, I was like, you're not recording. You got to record this.
Yeah, well, I wasn't.
Damn.
Like, I didn't care too much about it. I figured the first part of the podcast
Nobody cares.
isn't
about
worth
it.
saving anyway.
Nobody cares about the first 10
I'm
minutes.
surprised it took 102 episodes to do this, though, to fire up a podcast without recording.
No, that's not true. We did it once before. We did 20 minutes,
With Mark Fisher.
and then we had to
Wolf.
start over.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're recording now.
Okay, try to be as funny as we were the first time.
But you've got the audio through the camera too, right?
I do.
We're not. It's not all for
It's
lost
not
here.
lost.
Okay, so let's get to the rest of the world news.
Okay, the last worldly news.
The last worldly news: the podcast in the world recorded half their podcast without a memory card.
Three
in.
morons decided to.
Holy.
Even you can start your own podcast. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody can do it. It's this easy. You don't even have to hit record. What do you guys? What's your go-to hangover meal?
McDonald's.
Yeah.
McDonald's.
I was like, that's a no-brainer. That's bacon and egg.
McDonald's. What do you like to get from McDonald's? Yeah, bacon and egg.
So I would do the bacon and egg,
McChicken.
hash
with bacon.
brown, and then orange juice and a coffee. I do both.
Oh no. McChicken burger
McChicken
with bacon
burger.
and a Diet Coke.
Whoa,
Holy smokes.
like that's breakfast or that's like
Who are you kidding?
pre-hangover?
You're not up early enough after a night of drinking to
can't
go
make
get breakfast from McDonald's.
100% I can.
This is I'm calling bullshit.
11 a.m. I'm always out of bed.
The
breakfast all
next
day
day,
now.
like,
11 a.m.
is it breakfast all day now?
It's breakfast all day now.
Or
Okay,
sometimes
fine.
I plan
Your story
ahead and I
checks
pick
out.
that shit up while I'm going to bed.
Puts it on the nightstand beside
yeah.
beside
I pour
a cup of
myself a
vodka.
glass of vodka.
So
I hate vodka.
Katie Poole from Toronto, Canada, was out for a mom's night out. Got a little,
Yep.
had a little too many to drink.
Yep.
Decided to order herself a burger before she went to bed.
Yeah.
Skip the dishes. So she skipped the dishes, and normally she likes no mustard, no onions, no pickles. However, she ordered no mustard, no onions, no pickles, no bun, no hamburger patty.
So what did she get?
She got 2 packets of ketchup in a bag.
Good for her. And
Wake up in the morning and just squeeze them in. Like,
she probably woke up and wasn't even mad about it. Like, oh, good ketchup.
Ketchup, sugar, and tomatoes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, I've never done that. That's for sure. It used to be like a thing where you go out for I said that like an Ontarian right there.
You go
out.
Oot.
oot and about.
Go out for like Denny's or something or Humpty's at 3 a.m.
Have a
because Humpty's
skillet?
used to be open all night, right? 24 hours a day.
Yeah. Humpty's was great.
Yeah. Hit that place up before bed and then get McDonald's the next day.
Double.
But seriously, I don't know what it is about McDonald's, but though, like a Coke from McDonald's and some like a salty burger, man, fix you up.
Yeah.
I agree.
And mine is the bacon and egg for sure.
Bacon and egger.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a
Need that egg McMuffin.
That's a non-hangover
That's an
meal
A&W
for me.
thing, though.
A&W does a good one as well.
Well, you called it a bacon and egger. It's a egg McMuffin.
Right. Sorry.
a bacon and egger is
A&W.
A&W does bacon and eggers.
Yep, that's right. And an Egg McMuffin is McDonald's.
Get a bacon and egg.
Get out of town. I've
That's
always
true.
called it a bacon and egg. That's wrong.
They don't get offended. They
McDonald's?
just serve
No.
you. the
Yeah, it's
McMuffin.
McDonald's. Do you think they care? And they're
They
like,
don't
you're already here, you moron.
Call it whatever you want.
It's
$3.
bacon, egg.
Yeah, call it whatever you want. It's
I'm
$3.75 in the bag. See
I'm
you
actually
later.
more blown away that A&W somehow had the marketing budget to win people's minds over on what that sandwich is called.
That's true. You
How
are
did that
you
happen?
are from Weyburn though, so
I spent 1 year in Weyburn. Estevan.
Estevan.
You can't wash it off.
Oh,
either.
sorry. Yeah.
Here in Weyburn, it's stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could tell from here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you
Package
found
of
those
ketchup.
non-political stories today.
I have one more if you want it.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So Wade was at a restaurant last night for dinner,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
So there was two couples at a restaurant called Balthazar, and one of them ordered a 13 euro bottle of wine, and the other ordered a 1,500 euro bottle of wine, and they got mixed up, but no one could tell the difference.
Yeah, I believe that.
Really?
Yep.
What? Sorry.
And did they go
you say
halfers on the bill?
Balthazar?
Balthazar. It's the name of the restaurant. It's in the UK.
Okay.
Obviously.
No, actually, they didn't go halfer. The restaurant comped the one table.
The $1,500
Yeah.
one.
The cheap
They
one.
were out $4,000 essentially.
Ouch! Wow. So, be honest with me, Bryce.
Yes.
You're a wine guy because you own.
Yes.
You're part owner in a wine distributor, essentially.
I don't think
How
it's
much
essentially. I think
difference-
it's like actually
So, sorry.
a wine distribution company. I don't think
much-
it's essentially?
How much were those bottles of wine?
So like $15 and $2,000.
Okay. And somehow the restaurant was out $4,000. Got it.
Well, because they,
'Cause it costs
gave
two.
they gave two bottles away, right?
Oh, there's two bottles.
Well, because they gave the table that ordered the $2,000 bottle their $2,000 bottle that they ordered.
Oh, I thought you meant they switched them. I thought they were reversed, like the.
Yeah, the table that ordered the $15 bottle of wine
Got a $2,000.
$2,000
Right,
bottle.
right.
And
And
the
then-
table that got ordered the $2,000 got the $15 bottle of wine.
So then-
Oh, and then they had to
And then
give them
someone
the right-
realized what
I
happened.
see. It's Saturday morning. I didn't even put a memory card in the machine.
yeah.
Anyways,
Gotcha. So,
ask your question.
Be honest. There's a multiplier involved here between $15 and $2,000, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's a. I'm doing the quick math. It's like 135
It's a lot.
times.
Yes.
Come on, is there that much of a difference? How much better is the $1,500 wine? Like,
So, like the $1,500 bottle of wine was a 1989 like Moulin Rothschild wine. So it's like a very like prestigious vintage and everything. It would be like you being able to go back in time and watch Michael Jordan win the NBA Finals.
well, what would you pay for that?
What would you pay for that?
I told you before, my budget's $200
And I'm sticking to it.
for anything.
So
So I guess what I'm saying is like that's a clout wine.
It's
You're
a
ordering
clout
that
wine,
because
yeah.
you can
Because you got $2,000.
and you got $2,000. It's not because you drink it. You're like, oh my god, this is 135 times tastier than that other bottle of wine I would have got.
Exactly.
there
no
is a
no one
point.
could tell.
There is a point when it
Right,
changes,
and
though.
nobody could tell.
Right? There's some there's some $15 wines that are really good, but there's some $15 wines that taste like fucking paint thinner. It's awful.
I think that might be the first F-bomb in 102 episodes.
Really?
Like we
No. I actually thought about saying F and two, and then I was like, that's not right there.
like we keep it somewhat loose, but I think we've had this like unmentionable
That's the
agreement
one you
to
can't
not
say.
use
The
F-bombs.
F-bomb.
And
Put a
that was the
star on
first
that one.
There
Put a
goes
star
our
on that one.
sponsorships for next year. So I do believe there's different qualities of wine. I just I find it hard to believe that once you get past certain points, the wines get much better.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's in a restaurant, so it's probably like a
High
200% markup.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Anyways, that's a costly mistake right there. That's
huge mistake, yeah.
That sucks.
Drink what you like.
Drink what you like.
But how do you feel
Drink
about
what you like, not by the price.
being the guy that ordered the $15 bottle of wine and got it, and find out later, like, yeah, you just drank a $2,000 bottle of wine?
Oh,
like,
man.
Yeah, boy, let's hit up Humpty's.
Right? Exactly.
Let's go.
Let's hit up Humpty's.
Skillet.
Let's go get
Harley
some-
says the skillets at Humpty's are amazing. Michael O 1492 on the Instagram says, "Drink what you like, not by the price."
That's right. I agree. 100%.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a price point that I jump in at. I don't drink $10 bottles of wine anymore. So I don't like.
Snob.
No, it's not really a snob. It's just that I was let down too many times at
That's
that
right.
price point.
It's too much of a gamble at $10.
Yeah. So
Sure.
but
Okay, well, that's the worldly news. Thanks for throwing that fourth one in there. That was a good one, Bryce. That was actually your best one.
What?
I think that it would have been better without that because it made me swear. So
Hey, can't blame the man for...
Yeah, exactly. I'm just telling stories.
Right.
Back off.
yeah, let's go.
So I feel like we're doing pretty good. Like we used to not hit the content of the podcast till the 15 or 20 minute mark.
AE Carpentry. I'm out. The language on these two.
He also mentioned earlier, I forgot to mention, he preferred the old intro, the rock intro, the heavier one to the rap one.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
Okay, well, we'll change that up again.
We'll bring
Episode
it back.
300.
Episode 3.
Country.
Yeah, well, let's roll through some different genres. That'll
Yeah.
be fun. Anyway, today's episode is all about winterizing your deck because when this airs, it's going to be November. And so winter's right around the corner. Like it or not,
In all markets.
in all markets. Some it's like a little closer than others, but it's time to start thinking about like how do I prepare my deck for winter and how do I maintain my deck through the winter?
Yep.
So how to winterize your deck. And now we broke this down into a couple, like there's wood decks out there and there's composite decks. And for the most part, a lot of these tips or suggestions are the same for both, but there is some differences
Yeah.
depending on the
There's also
type of your deck.
we didn't talk about the vinyl decks like a Dura deck or a Tough deck or a but
Yeah, step one, tear that shit off and put on a real deck board.
anyways, they exist too. Sweep them off. That's it.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay, so now on to the wood decks. So wood decks we kind of started with, and we'll go through a couple. These are like tips how to prepare it and tips how to maintain it through the winter. We'll do the couple that are specific to wood decks. We'll do the couple that are specific to composite decks, and then we'll do the batch of things that apply to both.
Yep.
Just so we're
the
not repeating
umbrella
ourselves.
ones.
The umbrella.
Oh yeah, the umbrella decks.
Umbrella deck.
Here you go.
Wood decks. One of the most important things, I'm going to switch this up right now. One of the most important things to do before winter comes, and Wade, this is your idea, which was shocking because it was early in the morning. I was like, holy, he had a good idea.
Guy, I've been on fire of late.
Yeah, you have been.
I've had some real good ones.
Just lighten up the ideas.
Yeah.
Replace any damaged deck boards on your wood deck. And so when we're talking wood decks, we're talking about the majority, like softwood lumber, right?
Softwood
Like pressure
lumber.
treated or cedar or redwood or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's unlikely your hardwood deck has rotten boards or whatever that last forever. But replace any damaged deck boards. So why this is important is a couple reasons. You brought up the reason that like if you've got a deck board that's kind of starting to flake apart or chip, whatever, you're just gonna smash your shovel into it a bunch and do more damage.
Yeah, either rip a chunk of it out, right? Or worst case scenario, hang your shovel up on it and wind yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever do that?
Yeah.
I haven't done that
Just pushing real hard.
I haven't done that for a lot of years. That brings back memories of like as a kid when you're just pushing it from here, from your gut,
Yep.
and then you hit the edge of the sidewalk. It's like,
Are you going to be okay? Unlikely. This is probably the end right here. It's over.
I'll finish tomorrow.
Anyways,
So there's
yeah,
that part of it. Like it's a safety thing to not run into it with your shovel and wind yourself.
Trip yourself.
Or trip yourself up or whatever, because you won't be able to see it if it's covered by a bit of snow. But I was kind of thinking when you first said it, where you might be going with that is that if you've got some deck that's starting to deteriorate and has like some rot in it already, the water's, there's
Goes
nothing
there.
stop. It goes there and it's just going to accelerate that problem over the winter when that melts and it just soaks into that spongy lumber that's already there. And then you're in rough shape again.
Yeah, I was just thinking of like a piece of a deck board that had peeled back a little bit and then absolutely moisture just gets under there. That's what I was thinking initially. And then it was like, oh yeah, but then also when you're shoveling, you might hook that and then rip it open. And so anyways, deal with that right away.
So step one, before it snows and gets all buried and stuff and becomes a hidden issue,
Yeah.
is to replace those boards. Go buy a new board.
And there's
pop that
probably
one
only,
out, put the new one in.
probably only a couple that need to be done, right? So that's a fairly inexpensive fix.
Hopefully.
$20, yeah, $50 maybe. Worst
But
case scenario, a little bit of time.
Don't leave that for the
Get
spring.
after it.
Take care of it before the winter does more damage to it. The second thing is to kind of clean that deck off and oil it before winter. And so a lot of people think like oil in the spring. Yes, oil in the spring. But it's also not a terrible idea to oil in the fall before the winter comes and hits, because people, I think a lot of times don't, like they think, oh, there's snow out here, so it's wet outside. But it's not. Winter is extremely dry.
Yeah.
At least in especially in our climate, like it's so dry
Yeah, if you get out to the coast, it's quite a bit different. It's a different climate out there.
Yeah, if you're in a place that's just like cold and snowy, it's also extremely dry. The air is very dry. So your lumber, in spite of the fact that it's like freezing outside, dries out and it like goes through some changes as you go into winter and expands, contracts, and dries out and cracks and whatever else.
We've obviously thought of this as two different brains, because you think of the dry and the contracting, and I think of the wet climates like off of the Great Lakes and off of the coast, and it's like, well, that's going to be super wet, and you should have that coated and protected before that season comes.
Yeah,
So.
and well, the other part of this too is that the snow eventually melts.
Yep.
And then becomes water, and then if your deck isn't oiled before going to spring, then it takes all that water again
In the
when
spring.
it melts. So super dry, then the spring comes and it gets super saturated and it expands again and it cracks. So it's good just to like put a protective layer over that now,
Yep.
and it saves you all winter.
Yep.
And that oil is going to last a long time too, because then it is covered in snow and whatever else. And
Yep.
so
I know why people coat their deck in the spring. I know why they oil them in the spring, and that's because they're about to use it for the summer. So they want it to look good. They like
want that
prep it
look,
all up
yeah.
and make it look really nice. And so, but
How much would that fade over the winter?
UV is what's the hardest on the stain, right?
So
So
you'd probably be okay.
you shouldn't have any fading. Maybe a little
like,
wee bit.
Yeah, if you keep it swept off though, like there's sometimes that UV exposure can be fairly high in the winter too. Maybe not as harsh as in the summer, but so probably not much. But yeah, depends. If it's covered the whole winter by snow,
Right.
or a little bit of snow, then it's unlikely to do much.
And the
fading
sun
at all.
isn't as bad in the winter, right? It's not as high. It doesn't beat down on you. It's kind of from an angle.
Yeah, and so that's kind of the two primary things to watch out for that are specific to wood decks.
Yeah.
And so let's get on to a couple things that are specific to...
They can shoot something into the comments if these guys have other ideas. We could talk about them.
Sure. Composite decks, PVC decks. Good idea to just give it a wash. Get your power washer out and
Wash it.
spray it off and get all the junk off it before the winter comes. Just why? You don't care what it looks like? Yeah, but if there is dirt or grime or something like that just sits there and gets grinded into it all winter, then
Went with ground. Grinded. Ground.
ground into it.
Grounded it.
Grounded?
Grund.
Grunt.
It might get grunted into the... So just like clean it off. It's just a responsible thing to do. Like take care of it so you're not walking on it and grinding it all.
Just the
Listen, if you're not responsible enough to have a composite deck, and I've heard him sell like this in the store too. It's just awful. It's like he starts taking shots at people. I was like, there's a big commitment to this. You have to be like an adult to have
right.
this. You need to be able to wash it off twice a year.
I'm not going to give you your allowance on Friday
This
if you
is
don't
not
wash it
maintenance
off.
free. This requires some maintenance.
I think we're just going to do wood deck. Yeah, good, because I could tell you weren't responsible enough. Anyway. What does that mean? No.
I saw your car.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, give it a clean. Just prep it for winter. It's no different than going outside and cleaning off other things as you go into winter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, never mind.
And put your stuff away.
Sorry, I jumped ahead.
Yeah,
In my
I got a little
head.
excited there. Get your chairs and you put your furniture away. You're not using it all winter anyway. There's no point of being out there buried in snow. Can be if you want. I guess not hurting anything, but clean it off, winterize, put everything away, cover everything up, make sure your barbecue cover's on, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Good to go. Now, there's a bunch of things that...
That's it. That's the specific composite one, because composite's so much easier to maintain in the winter.
Yeah.
It's better.
Is it?
Way better. Mm-hmm.
Now, here's a bunch of things that are important for kind of both decks, regardless of what you're doing. Number one, to clean the leaves and debris from any of the gaps in your decking. And so this kind of goes back to like...
This was your idea, and I didn't think of it. It's a good one. For morning.
Oh, wow.
For morning
Pat,
for
my
you,
bad.
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was. So between your deck boards, a lot of times like seeds and dirt and leaves and crap gets kind of collected in there all year, all summer, especially in the fall.
Yeah.
Leaves fall. That's why they call it fall, Bryce. I don't know if you've ever wondered
Is
why.
that what they call it?
It's
I
like
thought they called it autumn. Yeah.
Yeah, autumn, but then we call it fall sometimes. Anyway, clean that crap out because
It's
again,
autumn when you plan for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, this is a dinner supper joke coming up. Here it comes. How is this going to come? Yeah. Bingo.
So the important thing about doing that is, again, to the point where the snow is going to fall and then melt in the spring, is that all that debris and crap between your deck boards is going to soak up that moisture and then sit there wet between your lumber and sit on your framing, and it just creates a mess there. And in the fall, it's nice and dry. It cleans out easy. Like take a leaf blower for the most part would do it. You might have to pick away at some stuff, but get the crap out from between your boards so you're not doing damage to your framing come spring.
Yep.
And that's for both.
Helps dry out the deck too. Like when it starts to melt. So has somewhere to go.
The next one is if you're going to clean the snow off of the deck, do not use a metal tipped shovel. That's the one thing you hear all the time. And this is a very common composite deck tip, is like, don't use a metal tipped shovel. But this applies to wood too, because wood scratches very easily.
Yeah.
Softwood does.
Yep.
So if you have a metal strip on the edge of your shovel that has a bit of burr in it, it's going to scratch either of them.
Yes.
So just a good tip is to not use shovels with a metal blade on them. Mm-hmm. The other option is if the snow is not that heavy, if it's just a little bit of a dusting, use a leaf blower or a broom instead, and not avoid the shovel altogether.
Buy new tools.
Yeah.
Get a leaf blower.
Get a leaf blower.
New
They're
tools.
not that expensive.
Those green.
They don't have to be.
Easy go ones are sweet.
You just
Right?
take a straw and you just.
No,
Yeah, or use braces.
it's different.
What are those called? The Alps in the big horns.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
those big horn. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah.
Here.
Turn one of those upside down.
Yeah.
Or just a chunk of PVC flex pipe. Anyway, use a leaf blower to blow off snow if it's just a light dusting, or a broom.
Yep.
If you need to use a shovel, use one that doesn't have a metal tip, and make sure it's just in good shape. Doesn't have any cuts in it or something that might kind of scratch things.
It's called an alpenhorn.
An alpenhorn?
Horn.
Okay, I was like, it's not horn.
It's just an
horn.
alpenhorn.
Okay, okay.
There you
Horn
go.
from the Alps. Like when
Weird.
we came up with that,
It's like,
so that's the number one tip for people. Never ever use an ice chipper, even if you've got ice on your deck. Like, don't get out there with a chipper and start hammering away, because you may be okay. You might only hit the ice and break it, but if you go a little bit too deep, then you've marked your deck.
Maimed your deck.
maimed the boards.
Yeah. And another tip is, if you're going to shovel it, and this isn't 100% necessary, but it's just a good practice, is to shovel parallel to the deck boards, because if you've at all got, for the same reason,
You don't want to get winded.
gutting yourself. But especially on wood
And
decks.
if you don't know what I mean by get winded, just go ahead and shovel your deck perpendicular once.
yeah.
You'll know what I mean.
Push real hard.
Yeah.
Real low, too.
Commit.
This is probably more of an issue for wood decks, because you can get some cupping on the boards with wood decks.
Yeah.
That'll create a bit of a lip that you really can jam a shovel into.
That's what
But
she
even
said.
that's what she said. But even on composite decks, there's a chance you could kind of jam that shovel edge into a groove between the boards and wind yourself again. I'm not, and this wasn't like, careful, you're going to wind yourself. This was if you jam it into the side of the board too many times, you
Catch an
might
edge
start
and
to
pop
damage
the
the edge
board
of the
up,
board. Yeah, or wreck your shovel, or wreck your guts, or wreck whatever, right?
Yeah.
So just general good tip: shovel parallel off the side of the deck. It's easy.
Yep.
How often do you think you should shovel your deck? As much as you shovel your
I don't.
driveway? Oh, you don't shovel your deck?
Or my driveway. I have 4-wheel drive vehicle.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's
Shane's got a nanny. You got a 4-wheel drive.
how
He has a 4-wheel drive too. He's living large over there.
how many times is it going to snow?
Is
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Just shovel it. But do
It's
you
a
need to
personal-
take the snow
don't-
off?
You don't have to.
It's totally personal. If you're not using it, no. Like they say that the average deck, and this is completely dependent too on the snow, but it's like your deck can get 3 feet of snow on it, no problem. It's like there's a snow load calculated into your local building department, what the live load of your deck is, or dead load of your deck is. It's accounting for snow load.
Right.
So
Not in Florida. They don't count for snow load.
right.
But
So you can have 3 feet of snow on the deck and it's not hurting anything, but
Right.
if you need to use it, but I mean, eventually that's going to you're going to have a few warm days kind of as you get closer to spring, and it's going to freeze again, and all that snow is going to melt and then refreeze and turn into like an ice brick on your deck and be a pain in the ass to do later. It's
Right.
way easier just to keep up with it. If you're outside shoveling your driveway and your sidewalk anyway, shovel off the deck.
Back to responsibility.
right.
Exactly.
I'm not responsible enough
Not
to own a deck.
responsible enough.
Doesn't sound like Bryce is responsible enough. He's asking when you should shovel.
I just minimum shovel time is
That's
what I'm
right.
looking for.
So that's what I do. I'm like twice a year. So I'll shovel it kind of after a really big snowfall. One of the first ones is usually pretty big. And then
Yep.
right before spring, when I know that it's going to start melting a bunch, then I usually go out.
just
shovel
try and
it
get
off.
like most of it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a path to the barbecue, which is always maintained because I barbecue all through the winter. But then the rest of the deck only gets cleaned off just before it all melts.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's a good responsible homeowner tip too, because like the word of the day is responsibility here. You don't want a whole bunch
good.
of
There's another one that could have stuck, which I'm glad did not.
there's a whole bunch of snow on your deck piled up from the winter, and then it sits there and drips beside your foundation all spring long. Is not a great thing either. I mean, if you have appropriate pitch underneath and grade on your up against your house and fine, whatever, but like eliminate having piles of snow melting beside your foundation. Why not?
Yep.
This is probably the last one, but this is probably the one that people are waiting for all the time is like, what type of ice melt is okay to use on a composite deck? This is a question we probably get 20 times going into winter every year or during winter. People call in and be like, what kind of salt can I use? So the general guideline here, and if you go into some of the manufacturer's website, they specifically say that you should use a calcium chloride based ice melt.
Yep.
The
With
obvious
no dye.
things are, the obvious things are to avoid the ones that use the dyes, because you can get those and they're handy because you can see where you salted because the odd little piece is
Blue
colored
fleck,
blue or whatever.
yep.
But that melts and leaves a blue stain on concrete, on your deck, on whatever. And even though you have a 25, 30, 40, 50 year fade and stain warranty on your deck, if it's a composite deck, there are some fine print rules around that stuff. And like one of the fine print rules on most of them is that you have to have the spot cleaned up within a week. Well, if you get a warm day in the winter and have some little dyed ice melt in your deck, you're unlikely to be out there cleaning that off until the spring. So
You
you've
probably
left it
don't
there
even
for
know.
months, and you may not know.
You probably don't even know it's there, right? So
And it's a dye. We're not talking like they talk about food stains, food and beverage stains. What they're guaranteeing against,
Yeah.
right? They don't
Grease.
guarantee that you can't go out there and
Dye.
drop food dye or
Yeah.
chemical dye on it, and that's going to be protected. It's like, so
Correct.
keep the dyes off. The other thing too is to not use ones that have like an aggregate or a sand or some sort of traction stuff in the salt, because that can grind in and cause scratching and whatever else.
it's so funny. Like all this stuff seems like common sense, but it's obviously not. Like we talk about it quite a bit. Like that one, right? People are like, "What can I use on my deck?" And I was like,
But I think when people are calling in, the concern is more from, is salt okay to put on this plastic, or is it
Yeah.
going to discolor it or do something chemically to it?
Yeah.
And for the most part, it's like use a calcium chloride based one, or another one I saw mentioned was a calcium magnesium acetate. It's supposed to be even better, but I don't know. Like, I think that's much less common.
Yeah.
But another hint that Fibron Decking, or tip that Fibron Decking said, is look for ones like if it doesn't say this is a calcium chloride ice melt.
"Yeah," because they usually don't put that on there,
Right. It may not say exactly what the makeup is, but they say to look for ones that are labeled safe for concrete, safe for flagstone, or safe for grass.
Yeah,
So you might see that before you see the actual, like, what is the chemical makeup of this stuff?
yeah.
And those are typically better for any surfaces, decks
Yeah,
included.
they're not so invasive, right? They're not super harmful.
Yeah.
So
And then the last tip with regards to that is when the spring comes and it melts off, get out there and sweep the deck off to make sure there's not any remaining salt or aggregate or whatever might be coming out of these cans, to make sure that it's not sitting there in the summer and
give it a good washing.
A washing.
worsh it.
Wash it. Pressure wash it.
Yep.
Yeah. Sure.
Buy more tools.
Buy more tools.
See?
I'm not opposed to ever buying more tools.
Me either. It's like, yep.
Do you have any other ones, Wade, that we didn't put on here? Like anything as we talk through this? Bryce, do you have any questions about this from a homeowner perspective?
I think I just need to be more responsible.
You do. Yes.
You're getting there though.
I'm getting there. I'm a young buck.
It's coming. It's happening. I don't have any. The list isn't long. It's to me, it's all very common sense stuff because it's like we talk about it so often. Right?
It's common sense because we talk about it every day through the winter. People ask like, what kind of shovel can I use? Am I okay to use ice melt? And but if this isn't your world, then
when you
don't know, right?
When you hear that, you're like, use a plastic shovel. In your head, you're like, right. Yeah. That makes sense. Metal with scratch plastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they may have never thought about it before because all they've ever done is shoveled their driveway.
Yep.
And like that's, sure, you can maybe scratch a little bit, but even if you do, who cares? It's your driveway.
Yeah.
So you've got metal shovels because they work great.
Yeah, because they work great.
Yeah.
To get that ice off.
Right.
Common sense and human behavior contradict quite often.
Says Michael 01490. He's active today in here, hey?
That's the
comments.
truth right there.
It is true. Yeah.
Do you guys have any salts that you recommend?
No.
No.
Like certain brands?
Yeah, is there no?
No. Just like I said, look for any, the brand doesn't matter. Look for any that's a calcium chloride base if you can find that on the labeling, or safe for concrete, safe for flagstone, safe for grass, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And without dyes and without added aggregate, I would say.
Yeah. Look for those ice salts that are good for your pets then, probably.
But you can you can avoid, yes, exactly. Pet friendly is the other one
Pet
too,
friendly.
right? The other thing is like you can avoid using these ice salts if you just stay on top of keeping it swept off in the first place.
Right.
Which will be easy because nobody's going anywhere this year. You'll
Yeah.
be sitting at home staring out your window waiting for something to do all winter.
Yeah.
Right.
Shovel your deck.
Shovel your deck.
Because a lot of times on this plastic stuff, it doesn't stick, like ice doesn't stick to it a bunch to begin with. So if you just keep it cleared off, and it's like,
It's pretty fast.
it's not going to get buried under snow a whole bunch like a driveway would where there's drifting, like it's up off the ground. The only snow it's going to land on is what lands on it. You're not going to collect snow from other places on it. So it's fairly easy to keep these things clear if you stay on top of it.
Does the like sitting snow on the stairs impact the stairs a lot? Like the weight load of the snow on this? Yeah, the weight load of the snow on the stairs.
I mean, just the same as it would on
Same
the
on the
deck.
deck?
You're
Yeah.
unlikely to have a whole bunch of weight on the stairs because there's not a lot of surface area there for it to
Right.
collect on. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
your stairs, if your deck's 4 feet off the ground, your stairs are the same size regardless if your deck is 100 square feet or 800 square feet. If it's a 4 foot wide staircase with two boards per tread, then it's
Fair
not
enough.
going to collect a whole bunch of snow. But I mean, the stairs is somewhere where when you're walking on, if you're compacting the snow, it's quicker to turn to ice because you're compacting it. So
What about your like if you have any like in-deck lighting? What should you do with that?
that's a good question. So like any quality outdoor lighting will be able to handle some snow and moisture, or else it's not, or else you shouldn't be using it in the first place.
What about minus 40 Arctic temperatures?
Well, Inlight
I
has
like what-
performed just fine.
I like what Quigley says. Get in the truck, drive south until I hit Florida. Perfect.
Yeah, that's an option too.
So I don't know. I don't know that I would treat the lights. Excuse me. I don't know that I would treat the lights any different than the rest of my deck. Just
Nope.
it's there.
The only thing to be cognizant of, I guess, is if you've done lights on the surface of your deck, like sitting on the flat horizontal surface,
Yep.
if they're not a flush mount, if they've got a ring on them or something, is like, well, be careful when you're shoveling to not smash into those a whole bunch of times. But that's why you should use a fixture that's a flush mount.
Yep.
Like Inlight's got their lights that they're completely flush with the surface of the deck, so you can shovel over top of them and not worry about it. But if you were to use one of their RVS lights or their puck lights that do sit proud of the decking, well, be aware of where those are because you don't want
Right.
to ram your shovel into it. That light's $50 and time to go in there and replace it if you
Yeah,
smash
I don't know.
it too
I
many
think
times.
break them. Then phone me.
Just destroy them.
Send them. Yeah, on the internet. Call me. I'll sell you a new one. Break your lights. It'd be great. We could sell the same set of lights twice, 3 times even. Depends how slow
There's that too.
how slow they learn. www.allsmydeckshop.com.
So there's that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's all I got.
Good. Thank God.
Whoa.
Went on forever and ever and ever. But luckily it looks like it was only 30 minutes because we left the first 20 off.
I forgot about that. I
You're
was
like,
like,
"Whoa,
holy,
that's
it's
a
a
quick one."
short podcast. So
Yeah.
we need to stretch this thing out. It's like,
18
no.
minutes of it's not there.
That wasn't running. Right. Okay, well, that's it. That's all we got for you today. That's just a good kind of a handful of tips on how to winterize your deck and how to keep it in good shape over the winter. So if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to send those to us through Instagram. Till then, we'll see you next week.
Podcast. Now you know what we're about. Check the site, come and shop. UltimateDeckShop.com. Hit us right away for sponsorships or tell us if you want to collaborate. Let's go. Check us out on any social networks. Thank you for listening.